The heat dome is moving west, rain chances are increasing. How's the 4th of July looking? And there's a hurricane moving towards the western Gulf of Mexico. Let's talk about it in this Wednesday morning edition of the Texas Weather Roundup.
Thank you to Storm Pro Solution for sponsoring today's Texas Weather Roundup. You can find them on the web at stormprosolution.com.
Good morning, I'm Texas Storm Chasers Bully-in-Chief David Reimer. This is the Texas Weather Roundup for Wednesday morning, the 3rd of July, 2024. We're going to be doing at least 2 of these videos a day now for the foreseeable future due to inclement weather possibilities in the form of a hurricane next week / this weekend. But before we deal with that, we've got a couple of less active days of weather to talk about. Let's head on over to the HiVise Rapid Refresh model. This is going to be for this morning, this afternoon, tonight into the 4th of July. Another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms possible across the Panhandle this afternoon, West Texas, down into the Trans-Pecos, the borderland far West Texas, around El Paso, into the Big Bend, Guadalupe, and Davis Mountains. Some of those storms in the Panhandle could, like yesterday, feature heavy rainfall, strong winds, pocket change size hail, and a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning. We also note the possibility of some tropical pop-up shower and thunderstorm activity across East Texas, Southeast Texas, and the Texas Gulf Coast, both today and tomorrow. Those could have locally heavy rainfall. As we head into all right, here is the forecast Friday through the weekend. You could see scattered showers and thunderstorms. Yeah, we're going to see more of them as we go into Friday afternoon, especially across the northern 2/3 of the state. Locally heavy rainfall, cloud-to-ground lightning, pocket change size hail, gusty winds. Quieter Friday night, another round of pop-ups Saturday afternoon as we get into daytime heating with the area of high pressure moving west into California. We're not going to have that sinking air overhead. And then as we head into Sunday, you can see the global forecast system showing one of the more northern solutions for Hurricane Beryl, bringing a hurricane into the Rio Grande Valley Sunday into Sunday night. And yeah, that's possible, unfortunately. Forecast rain totals over the next 5 days. This will be today through 7 a.m. Monday. You could see a scattering of light to moderate rainfall possible across a good chunk of the state, actually. Not bad at all for July. And a lot of this has nothing to do with the hurricane. We could see between 1/10 to 1 inch of rain locally across the Panhandle, West Texas, the borderland far West Texas, down to the Big Bend, the Trans-Pecos, the Permian Basin, the Concho Valley, the Big Country, Northwest Texas, Texoma, North Texas, Central Texas, into the Arklatex, Northeast Texas, East Texas, the Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, the Coastal Plains, the Coastal Bend, the Victoria Crossroads, down into the Rio Grande Plains, the Rio Grande Valley, and deep South Texas, the lower Texas Gulf Coast, the middle Texas Gulf Coast, and the upper Texas Gulf Coast. Really, the easiest way to think of this is, yeah, we're going to have a scattering of scattered showers and storms. Yeah, that makes sense somewhere. Beginning, well, tomorrow and Friday, and continuing next week through the next week. And if you end up under one of those showers, you could get a quick 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain with all the tropical moisture in place. At this moment, forecasting rain totals of 2 to 5 inches across deep South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, in association with Hurricane Beryl. That is assuming landfall occurs about 80 miles south of Brownsville. Otherwise, shortly after 7 a.m. Monday through early next week, the southeastern third of Texas could see a coating of heavy rainfall with multiple inches of rain possible. Here's the National Hurricane Center forecast as of 4 a.m. Central Time this morning. Major Hurricane Beryl continues moving west quickly at about 20 miles an hour in the central Caribbean Sea, passing well southwest of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, on course to directly impact Jamaica. By this afternoon, hurricane warnings in effect. We note now hurricane watch is in effect for the Yucatan Peninsula, including Cancun, where landfall is expected shortly after, or let's just say around sunrise, maybe a bit before Friday morning. Current course speed have this moving over the Yucatan, weakening to a tropical storm Friday afternoon before moving into the Bay of Campeche in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico Saturday morning. The current forecast has this system re-intensifying into a hurricane in the western Gulf of Mexico before making landfall approximately 80 miles south of Brownsville, Texas, late Sunday or early Monday morning. The cone of uncertainty, which I might add is not a dynamic cone of uncertainty based on each storm system. This is based on the last 5 years of forecast errors averaged out in the long range. So, to be honest with you, use that information as you will. The cone does include the Rio Grande Valley up to the coastal bend, the coastal plains. The National Hurricane Center currently betting on a more southward trajectory compared to some data, which is suggesting a northern trajectory. For example, the Global Forecast System data is the northern outlier. The Primary Deterministic Global Forecast System, GFS, model has landfall near Brownsville on Sunday. Other data, even further north at times, up towards Corpus Christi. The European weather model is in line with the Hurricane Center forecast, or vice versa, showing a landfall about 80 miles south of Brownsville. Some data is even further south. Assuming we have the southern tracks win out and landfall is 80 to 100 miles south of Brownsville, we are going to have the potential for some storm surge on the lower Texas Gulf Coast, South Padre Island. South Texas will have heavy rain, potential for flooding, a few tornadoes, and, well, yeah, strong wind gust. If the northern solutions verify and we have a landfall closer to Brownsville or on the lower or middle Texas Gulf Coast, the potential will exist for hurricane force winds by Sunday. A dangerous, impactful storm surge, tornadoes, the heavy rain, flooding risk expanding further north into Texas. And we'll go ahead and show you this. This is the most likely arrival of tropical storm force winds, and I'm showing you this simply to emphasize that the arrival of sustained tropical storm force winds, based on the current forecast, if we have to deal with them, would be around 8 a.m. Sunday for the lower Texas Gulf Coast, the Rio Grande Valley. If the system tracks farther north, it may be closer to lunchtime Sunday along the coastal bend. At this point, the forecast confidence in the long range remains low. And that's not just me saying that, that's the National Hurricane Center saying that. That's what every forecaster, meteorologist, weather weenie, social meteorologist, whatever, should be saying, is we simply don't know yet where this thing is going to exactly go after it moves over the Yucatan Peninsula and makes it into the western Gulf of Mexico. But something to think about is the farther north this goes, the more time it will have over the Gulf of Mexico's warm waters, and the stronger the hurricane could become. The farther south it goes, the less time it will have over water, and it will probably be comparatively weaker. Nevertheless, the potential for hurricane impacts on the lower Texas Gulf Coast, maybe even the coastal bend, exists late Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, with the potential for storm surge, strong winds, heavy rainfall, inland freshwater flooding from heavy rain, especially by Sunday and Monday, and the potential for a tornado risk on the northern sides of the hurricane. So we're going to have to keep watching things closely, and that's what you should be doing as well. But again, this system still several days out from being an issue for us directly. After we go through Sunday and Monday, moisture from Beryl is likely to result in increasing heavy rain chances across the southeastern third of Texas. And it's going to remain active as we go into next week with a continuation of rain chances. Here's today's high temperature forecast. You want hot? Well, good news. If you don't, go to the Panhandle. Highs in the 80s this afternoon. Everyone else, it's going to be in the 90s to triple digits. It's hot. Welcome to summer. It's July in Texas. Tomorrow, same story, except maybe a little warmer in the Panhandle. It's still hot tomorrow. Friday, bigger changes. We're going to see a cool front start moving southeast, kind of a boundary. Regardless, highs only in the low to mid to 80s. The Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, back up in the upper 80s, 90s, 90s in the Big Country, Texoma, southeast of that boundary, bisecting pretty much the northwest to southeastern half of the state. We'll see highs in the southeastern half of Texas continue 90s in triple digits, and again, we're going to have plenty of showers and thunderstorms. Now, for the 4th of July forecast, the potential for isolated scattered storms Thursday afternoon, western third of the state. Otherwise, as we approach sunset tomorrow evening, temperatures mostly across the state will either be in the 80s or 90s. It will be warm, with hopefully most of you being able to get in your sunset festivities without threat from Mother Nature. Saturday, boundary shifts further south, along with a continuation of scattered thunderstorm chances across the state. Highs, northern two-thirds of Texas, upper 80s, lower 90s, so a good 10 degrees cooler than the next couple of days. And then southern third of the state, it's still going to be in the upper 90s to triple digits. High temperatures on Sunday statewide return to the 90s. And of course, a lot of this will also, as we get into Sunday and Monday, depend on the eventual direct track of Hurricane Beryl. But again, it would not be unwise for those of you along the Texas Gulf Coast to continue monitoring the progress of Hurricane Beryl closely, continue monitoring the latest forecasts from the National Hurricane Center, and we definitely will be as well. Again, we're planning on producing a morning and a dinner time edition of these videos for the foreseeable future to discuss Beryl. Otherwise, with the heat dome moving into California, Oregon, the West Coast, we will have less subsidence sinking air over our part of the state, part of the world, and with that, we're going to enjoy comparatively cooler temperatures and a uptick in scattered afternoon thunderstorm chances, which themselves can produce rain-cooled outflow. And then next week is looking active in the terms of rain chances across the state. As always, you can keep up with the latest forecast by downloading the Texas Storm Chasers free mobile app, where you can get interactive weather radars, live severe weather coverage, your daily Texas weather roundup forecasts, and more. We'll have our next full video update out by dinner time, sooner if necessary, and we'll keep an eye on things. Welcome to the Atlantic hurricane season. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. We'll talk with you later. Have a good one. God bless.